what's going on, everybody? This is Fiber Joe. We're out here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I'm sure you guys know this gentleman sitting next to me. This is the man, the legend, the myth, the Pope of Peppers, Mr. David DeWitt, the producer of the Fiery Food Show.
Well, I'm enjoying being here with you at Garduno's, having some nice salsa. And we'll have some enchiladas later.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years.
30-year anniversary of the Fiery Food Show.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Sounds like torture, doesn't it?
You've outlasted most marriages, brother.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
On a hot sauce show.
The only marriage I haven't outlasted is my own.
Well, here you go. So, show one.
Yeah.
Take that
oh,
30
yeah.
years ago.
Uh,
How many vendors? Where was it held?
It was held at the El Paso Hilton, amazingly enough. I had a partnership with another guy named David, and he lived in El Paso, and we thought, well, that's close to where the fields are. You know, we'll try a show down there. And my wife was teaching English at Manzano High School at the time, and she had the summer off. And I said, guess what, honey, you're going to be a telephone salesperson.
Nice.
Selling booth space at a National Fiery Foods show. We didn't have barbecue in the title at that time. And so she did a pretty good job. She got laughed at. They told her she was crazy, a show would never work. She'd get a life and all this kind of stuff, but she stuck with it. And we had 47 exhibitors in the first show, almost more exhibitors than attendees. It was hard to advertise a first show like that, especially in El Paso where nobody knew me.
Right. 47 vendors. I mean, back in the day, that's quite a bit.
It is quite a bit, and but the general public attendance was only about 500.
Right.
And so nobody made very much money, but they loved the concept. They liked the concept of all these exhibitors getting together.
So, off the top of your head, the first show, vendors, do you remember any of the names of the vendors that were at your first show?
Yeah, Chuck Evans was in the very first show, and he has Montezuma salsa and so forth up in Ohio. And I don't even know whether he's still in business or not, but he was one of the very first ones. And the interesting thing about that show, there was a guy from Washington, D.C., who had scored some habaneros. And people had vaguely heard of habaneros 30 years ago, but nobody had ever tasted one. And so we dared him to eat one, and it choked him up so bad, he looked like he was going to vomit, and he ran out of the show, never to return. And I remember that in particular, thinking how funny that was. This guy was going to show off and, you know, eat the hottest, at that time, the hottest pepper in the world, or so we thought.
Right.
And then he goes scurrying away, and but we got a hold of more habaneros, and of course we had Chili Pepper Magazine at the time, being published in Albuquerque, and we started doing stories on the habanero, and we literally turned that pepper into the most famous pepper in the world for the time it was. And then I ended up writing with Nancy Gerlach a book called The Habanero Cookbook, and that helped. That sold about 40,000 copies, and that helped build the whole legend of the habanero. Of course, we were shot down by the Bujaloki a long time after that, but still, we had you know, putting peppers on the map, the different kinds of peppers, has always been a goal of ours to do.
Rick did a little thing on Nevin,
Yeah.
which I got a chance to be around when he was doing it. And that kind of puts me back on your sponsorship. You got Disket again this year.
Yeah, this gets a sponsor
You got your
this year.
505.
Yes.
You've got your, well, of course, Coyote now.
Yes.
Used to be 94, now we're Coyote. They're doing an awesome job of promoting your show.
Yes, I like those people, and I've known Erica Viking for 20-some years, so she's a friend, and they give us really good coverage, and we still advertise with other stations.
Kiss, I think.
Yeah, Kiss.
Right. And then you got your Channel 13, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
And then my favorite, Budweiser.
Well, it's going to be Bud Light, Dilly Dilly.
Even better. Dilly Dilly. There you go. Dilly Dilly from the man himself.
Well, they finally got a good campaign together.
Yeah.
That is way beyond usual beer commercial, let's put it that way. And they're getting a lot of attention. And now they've manufactured a toast that is being used in bars all over the country just because it's so funny.
Oh, yeah.
And
not only that, but every workplace that I've been to so far, on a Friday, the first thing you hear Friday afternoon when the clock is being checked out is Dilly Dilly.
I know. It's funny that an ad campaign could come up with a bar toast. That just amazes me that could happen. But anyway, they're a sponsor, and it's going to be fun. And so instead of just the usual Budweiser logo, we're going to have a logo from Bud Light that incorporates the whole Dilly Dilly thing in it. For barbecue enthusiasts, we have two barbecue stars coming in.
I just got chills, man, because I know exactly who you're bringing in.
Right.
You got Ray Lampe.
You're right. Dr. Barbecue is coming in. This is a second appearance, as is the second appearance for Rick Brown. Rick Brown, of course, had Barbecue America on PBS for 7 years.
I haven't had much chance to check out Rick Brown, but I am a big fan of Dr. Barbecue.
Yeah, Ray and I are close buddies.
I heard.
I helped him with his first couple of books. My agent represented him when we had a really good chance to sell a 3-book deal to St. Martin's Press. And so I helped him with that. And then he caught on so fast to the writing game that I didn't have to help him anymore. And so he's now become a pretty big star.
Yeah, and he's blowing up Food Network and everything else. So.
Yeah, right.
And so let's touch back on this 505 food fight. You got your Dave Ruiz, Stacy Wilson, Stacy Wilson.
Right, Stacy Wilson is one of the producers of the event. They do it all for charity.
That's what's awesome about the whole thing.
And New Mexico Kids Matter is will be the recipient of the income from that. So this is helping children with foster parenting, and this covers some of the expenses of the foster parents who help these kids out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. We last year did it for the APS school program.
Right, did Lunchbox?
Yeah, the lunch thing. And you notice that after we did that, all of a sudden the rules got changed.
Yeah.
And APS is not shaming kids anymore by making them eat a cheese sandwich. They completely revised the whole thing. And I mean, you can imagine how a kid whose parents couldn't pay the lunch fees and so forth like that, eating a cheese sandwich, everybody would tease him or her. And that's now gone. I'm saying we helped.
Yeah, every little bit helps, right?
Well, we raised $5,000 to pay the back bills, the people who owed the lunch fees.
That's great.
And so
let's touch on that. You got the couple of shows on Saturday and then the final on Sunday, correct?
Right. And there's actually 3 food fights on Saturday and 2 on Sunday, the semifinal and the final. We raised $5,000. That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to try to beat that this particular year. And so we've got
all donated.
Yes.
And plates sold.
Right.
To the highest bidder.
Right. There's all kinds of ways Stacy raises money
it's
on this
really
thing.
cool
She's really clever. And so that's entertaining. That's a $10 donation in exceeding beyond the admission to the show.
Sure.
Because this is just a charity event. And so we don't expect everybody to pay for the show and then pay another $10 or whatever they want to pay for the food fights. But I think everybody understands.
Sure, it's for charity. I mean, it's for the kids.
We're not making any money off of that at all.
$10.
I mean, we don't even take our expenses out of that.
Right.
We donate everything.
That's awesome.
And the chefs who are the judges and the chefs who are doing the competition, of course, but we also have chefs who are judging. They all donate their time.
So you're not going to be able to do this for the rest of your life.
No.
I know you've got some special little lady that's involved with you as well.
Yes, that would be my niece, Emily. Everybody thinks she's my daughter. We've given up trying to convince people. So she is my niece, but she feels like a daughter to me. And she's been working with us on the show, in the Florida show, which we don't do anymore, since she was 14.
Wow.
And now she has 3 teenage kids. So Emily is getting a promotion.
Nice.
She's been show producer, and we've been sort of sharing that particular title, but for her hard work and the effort she's put into it, she's going to be the president of Sunbelt Shows Incorporated. I'll retain being CEO, but she'll be president, and I think she deserves it, and she's getting a little bit more money.
She absolutely does deserve it. She works her butt off, and that crew that she's got that helps her out, they do an amazing job.
Well, when you put 15 to 20,000 people inside a show hall over 3 days, that's a lot of work.
Yes.
And she's got a good team. We take care of business, and crazy things have happened at the show. We've had it's like she's running a small town of 20, 30,000 people for 3 days, and she's the mayor.
Right.
And so everything that could happen to a town that size has happened at our show. We've had people faint. We've had people projectile vomit. Not good for a food show.
No, I think I was probably one of those.
And
After the execution, Stacy.
and so it's a big responsibility for her, but she's just stepped in and she basically took over the role my wife Mary Jane played for all the early years. And that's now Emily. She does all the sales, for example, and she does the, say, floor production, we call it, running the floor of the show. And we get complaints, but that booth next to me is 2 inches too long, and stuff like that have to be resolved. My electricity went out. Can you help me? My help didn't show up, and we try to find somebody to replace the help and all that. So we do all those semi-parenting kind of things that you have to do for people who have paid you money to be in your show, and they deserve to be taken care of. And Emily does a great job of doing that, as did Mary Jane before, and me on it.
Let me be the first to congratulate you, Emily. That's awesome. I mean,
well,
congratulations. That's great.
Also, just in another way, it's good to see women in business with, responsible management positions, taking care of stuff. And just like the book business, show production has a lot of women in it in very responsible positions, and I think it's good. And so, call me a woman's liber if you want, but it's okay.
Awesome.
Well, we'll see you at the show.
Oh, absolutely.
And thanks
All
for
3 days.
thanks for the interview.
Oh, thanks for everything, Dave.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. So, hey, y'all, if you don't make it if y'all don't make it out there, it's your own fault. So, this is Fiber Joe with iloveitspicy.com. We'll see you guys in March. Peace out.